Hello and welcome to the Snow Show. This is the show about snow.
Including man-made snow, like this stuff we run at the Big D at Hotham.
So, Charlie, do you think man-made snow is much different from the real stuff?
Well, it's close. It looks and feels like the real thing, but technically it hasn't crystallised like a real snowflake. But to ski on, you wouldn't know the difference.
Well, thanks, Professor Showers. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Let's tell them what's in today's show.
Well, this week, Ramona takes you to Falls Creek and introduces you to Dylan Lewis.
Marcus has a snow driving tip for you.
But up first, we're off to the North Island of Japan, to Grand Hirafu in Niseko.
Last time, we stayed at the 5-star Prince Hotel at Higashiyama, which is one of the 4 resorts that makes up the Niseko ski area. This time, we're going to take you just a short distance around the mountain to Grand Hirafu, still accessed on the same lift ticket, but just a different village. We went for a walk around town, and you do notice a few Australian accents about, because this is Ground Central and is the newest ski town for Aussies looking for powder snow. Where there are Aussies, you'll find the best conditions, and this place is relatively cheap, has its consistent snowfall, an average of 12 metres of snow each year, and the base sits around 4 metres for most of the season. The temperatures stay cold and the snow stays very, very nice. Do you get an idea of how deep it is just by walking around? Just look at how much snow there is on either side of the footpath. The one drawback of all this snow is the constant clearing of the white stuff so that the town can function. Shovels alone just won't cut it here. For this kind of snowfall, you need some serious equipment. And for the bigger jobs, there's no mucking around.
Our first night in town, and we were lucky enough to catch a big air comp, Japanese style. Well, actually, it's like every other big air comp across the world, with plenty of thrills and spills. The crowd gets excited, as does Ramona and myself. Doesn't the announcer realise it's minus 10 degrees and that it's night time? They breed them tough in Hokkaido and they love to rock and roll. The snow is relentless, day and night. This is surfing Niseko style. And the crowd love it, although I can't really see it catching on.
Did you know that one of these snowmaking machines can churn out up to 30 truckloads of snow in just one night?
Wow, that is a lot of snow.
Sure is.
Up next, more on Niseko.
The next morning, we caught up with an Aussie friend from Falls Creek, Caroline Ross. Having spent a few seasons here in Niseko, we figured she'd know all the best places to go. Caroline didn't disappoint. No matter where we go in the world, we always run into someone we know. Will Hooley and James Southwell Killy. With this many mad keen Australian skiers in one spot, you're bound to run into a few. Charlie seemed to take an interest in Caroline and spent most of his time skiing with her.
More. Doesn't ever stop snowing. It never stops snowing here. Why is it so? Caroline took us over to Hanazono, which is still part of the Niseko lift ticket. Ironically, Hanazono is now owned by an Australian consortium headed by ex-Hotham Managing Director Colin Hackworth. It may be only 3 lifts, but many say some of the best terrain on Niseko. We spent a lot of time in an area known as Strawberry Fields. Although the Japanese are very safety conscious and most of the Japanese stay on the wide, groomed runs, the ski patrol have had to accommodate for the increasing foreign contingent that want to get off the well-beaten path. To cater for the adventurous powder hounds, a few previously out-of-bounds areas have reluctantly been opened up by ski patrol. Hanazono, which in English means harmony, offer the White Room, an out-of-bounds experience led by trained guides. To get the most of your powder holiday, it's always worth getting a guide to show you around, just so you don't miss anything.
Niseko is actually a small town down on the flatlands and is also the collective name of the 4 resorts that make up the Niseko ski area on the one mountain, Mount Annapurna. One lift ticket will give you access to over 30 lifts that vary from gondolas to covered chairlifts and exposed single chairs. Nice ski suit, dude, but it's not Easter. Although the mountain peak is just over 1,300 metres, lower than the Australian Alps, it has around 1,000 metres of vertical. And because of the cold, dry winds coming from Russia, the snow is always very nice here during midwinter. But be sure to wear your best thermals as it does get cold, as low as -20 degrees, plus wind chill.
We stayed at the Prince Hotel Hirafu, a fantastic place that caters for all, with full Japanese-style rooms, half Japanese, half Western rooms, and just plain Western rooms. But when in Japan, well, you know, live it. The Hirafu is most famous for their spa, which is one of the best parts of Japanese culture. Almost all spas, onsens as they are known in Japan, come from a natural source, and the minerals found in the water are believed to be not only relaxing, but healing as well. For us, it was simply a wonderful daily experience which became routine.
Keep watching the snow show. Another reason why we liked the Hirafu was its location on the side of the run. True ski-in, ski-out accommodation. You have to love this kind of service. Surprisingly, the slopes aren't crowded, and getting on the hill is easy with electronic ticketing. After another big day on the slopes, I caught up with Caroline.
So what's some of the biggest obstacles that Australians face coming here on holiday?
Well, the first thing's the language. I mean, there's the big language barrier, which is, I mean, it's more of a problem in the smaller resorts that haven't been so invaded by Australians.
But it's not difficult, is it, to overcome that?
No, it's not difficult. I mean, as long as you speak slowly and clearly. Most Japanese have quite a good understanding of English, but just, I mean, making simple sentences and, yeah.
You notice a lot of the signs too have both Japanese and English.
Especially here in Niseko, there's English and Japanese, and they're becoming a lot more receptive to English around here. But, I mean, as long as you make a try, I think most people should try at least and learn the basics, you know, thank you, arigato, and hello.
So you must see a lot of Australians come through your lodge do they have any difficulties, you know, fitting in with the Japanese culture?
No, I mean, some take it on more than others. Some will go out of their way to actually meet Japanese people and go to less sort of Australian invaded places.
But it's not hard to...
No, it's not hard. I mean, every person that's come through has loved the place, and just because it's It's a skiing holiday, but it's also a cultural experience.
Yeah.
So you get there.
You're also fluent in Japanese, right?
Yeah,
So
I can
you
still
do
be a
the
lot
translating
better.
for them?
Yeah, I help them out. You know, restaurant bookings and that sort of thing is a bit difficult if you don't have that, you know, backup.
Or bus
to help you.
schedules, timetables.
Bus schedules, booking buses to Sapporo, or if they want to go to another resort near here. You know, it's a bit hard trying to organise that if you don't have Japanese. But having said that, there's so much around in English that, yeah, it's not too bad.
Is there any big adjustment that Australians need to make to fit in with the Japanese culture?
Yeah, I think
Like, you can be very polite and...
definitely a bit more polite, and Japanese people tend to be, I mean, they're very polite and indirect, so we're direct compared to Japanese people. So yeah, politeness is a big thing.
We were invited for a special dinner at the Alpine Hotel to eat at the Hirafu restaurant. Japanese food is exceptional and always tastes so fresh. We were joined by the mountain manager of Grand Hirafu, Takanori Tachibana, and he talked us through the local cuisine that just continues to amaze you. Sometimes Japanese food is not entirely recognisable, but we always made an effort to try something different. And by looking at the Japanese population around us, it must be all good for you. Apparently, Japanese are really into varying textures of food, which sometimes can be a challenge for the Western palate, but never boring, and always pretty tasty. Charlie's got a fascination with the moving food.
It's got character.
It's not alive, Charlie, it's just unfolding.
Itadakimasu. Itadakimasu.
We were more than happy.
Grand Hirafu has lifts running from 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's 12 and a half hours of skiing if you want it. And since they light up so much of the hill and most of the lifts operate, you can choose any time to go skiing and snowboarding. So if you want to get the most out of your lift ticket, start training now for a ski holiday in Niseko next winter. There is so much light, you can even get in amongst the trees and find some powder.
Charlie, you're an instructor. What is the instructor way of skiing powder?
Well, there's no one way, but there's a few things I teach people when we're in powder. One of the main things, and it's a common mistake, most people tend to lean back when they're skiing powder. And I know people have always been told that, but it's really wrong. Like, it really upsets your balance. You should stay standing in the middle of your ski. That's probably the most important thing. But also, if you're skiing on older school skis, like skis a bit straighter, it's important to bring your skis a little bit closer together. Lets them sort of come back up through the bottom of the turn a bit easier, so you don't sink as much.
I mean, that's the way I was taught, like in the, and also getting your arms to go up and down to get your bounce out of the powder and stuff like that. But I mean, it's changed now that I got these big fat things.
Yeah, I know. Now I've got these fat skis, you don't really need to bother about it as much because your skis, they come back up from the turn much easier. You don't sink as much. After a good night's sleep, it was time to get going. Back to Sapporo to hop on a plane, south to the mainland, to the site of the 1998 Olympic Winter Games, Nagano. But that's another story you'll have to tune in next time to see. If you liked what you have just seen and think you can handle it for yourself, then here is a great deal we can offer you through SkiMax. Stay at Grand Hirafu and ride Niseko from just $2,314, which includes Australian Airlines return flights from Sydney to Sapporo, transfers to Niseko, 7 nights twin-share accommodation at Scott Hotel, daily breakfast, and a 6-day lift-only pass. Conditions apply. You know you deserve it. To book, call SkiMax Qantas on 1300 136 997 or visit skimax.com.au.
Now it's time for another tip to help with your driving in the snow. Last time we looked at chains. This time we're looking at driving up the hill. When heading up the mountain, take it easy. I know most of you are excited about going skiing or snowboarding, but just take your time. Even if the road isn't fully covered in snow, it can be quite icy in sub-zero temperatures. So keep your speed down and your movement smooth. If you're radical with your turns, you can lose traction and lose control. So slow and smooth. If your drive wheels start to spin or slide, ease off the accelerator, then gently resume speed. It's a lot more difficult to get going once you've stopped, and if you have a little bit of momentum. Give yourself space and try to avoid going up right behind another car, because if they lose traction and start to slow down, you can be in trouble. Give yourself a significant distance behind another car, pick your own speed, and then keep the momentum going. Remember, inertia is your friend on a slippery slope. Next time, we're going to be looking at parking the car. Until then, happy driving.
It's a Saturday night in Falls Creek and the Brown Hornet are rocking the house. And on vocals is our favourite player in Celebrity Circus, Dylan Lewis. Amped to be in the snow, Dylan was keen to hit the slopes, having skied only once before in his university days. But first we had to get by the paparazzi. Curious about his busy public lifestyle, I asked if happily married and musician could go in the same sentence.
Yeah, I think so. Musicians get a bad rap. They're not all that bad. No, I've been with my girlie now for 10 years, and so marrying was just a furthering of our relationship. We weren't obliged to do it by anyone or anything, so it's treating us very well, I must say. I dig it a lot. I love love, so anything that celebrates love is correct in my books.
Oh, you some of your lyrics, you sing about love?
I do. I scream a bit about love, yeah. But it's the best thing in the world. It makes it go round, doesn't it?
Do you write all your own lyrics?
Yep. Most of the lyrics are mine. Sometimes other band members collaborate too. Yeah, so everyone puts in their 2 bobs, but on the whole, it's mine, my words. I think the altitude's affecting me, and I've started turning into a hippie and talking about love and stuff. And I'm normally very tough. My face is getting frozen. Does that happen normally?
So are you going to draw inspiration from the snowfields and write your next song on?
Yes, definitely.
Write your next song on the snow?
About the peacefulness of sitting on a mountain and the hilariousness of seeing people stack. So good.
When it comes to snow sports, Dylan is talented in more than just one discipline.
I am the king of Xbox snowboarding, Amped 2. I truly am the king of the mountain. But it's just so different when you actually come out here, and when you fall over, it really hurts. It's different. I get pretty sore thumbs from Xboxing for a long time, but nothing like the pain I experienced from falling
More
on those.
incentive to stay on your feet, right?
Word.
Good. So what are some of the tricks you can do on the Xbox?
There's lots of rail sliding going on, so I'm pretty good at the rail slides. I'm good with big air, yeah? You're teasing me, just because I don't know the name. Hot dogs. I'm good at hot dogs. Reversey, wacky hot dogs.
I'd like to see one of those.
Yeah, I'll show you later. I'll teach you.
Perfect.
I put Dylan on the spot and asked him to share some of his other freestyle moves.
Come on, brain. Come on, work, brain. Come on, altitude. Go with me. All right. White snow, drifting. Getting on the ski, lifting to the top of the hill. And now I look like a dill because I can't ski as well as Ramona.
Dylan Lewis, always the entertainer. The Snow Show with Ski Max have a great deal for you to ski Victoria. Check out Falls Creek from just $708 per person, which includes 5-day compact 4-wheel-drive car hire with Eurocar, 5 nights in a 2-bedroom apartment at Snow Ski Apartments, and a 5-day lift pass. Conditions apply. Do it now. Call Ski Max on 1300 136 997 or visit skimax.com.au.
Well, that's it for the Snow Show this week.
And if there's anything in today's show that you liked and want to know more about, then head to our website.
Snowshow.tv. And remember, the best way to enjoy winter is in the snow.
Bye for now.
From master storyteller Steven Spielberg comes an epic television event spanning 50 years and 4 generations. The incredible story of one of the greatest secrets of all time. You will believe when you witness Taken, July 5 on 9. It's your afternoon movie next, The Mill on the Floss.